We're live. Hello. I don't know what happened with the link, but I managed to make it work again somehow. We are here with Asha.
Me.
Asha is with us today because Garry is poorly. He's poorly sick and can't eat pudding, as my mum would say, my grandmother would say.
I am
and he's pobbies.
replacing him.
And Ash is replacing him. When I was sick, Asha, do you remember? Asha, obviously, for everybody who doesn't know, is my daughter, my youngest daughter. and whenever I was sick as a child, my mum used to make me something called pobbies, because we're come from the north, and I don't know if anybody else who's from the north of the UK knows about pobbies, but I did used to make it for the kids when they were little. And pobbies is white, what I call fudgy bread. So white bread, buttered.
Yes.
Two slices together, buttered, and then cut up into cubes with sugar sprinkled all over it.
Oh, yeah.
Hot milk put over the top of that. And that's pobbies.
It wasn't one of my favourites, I must say.
No. It was either that, or she used to do a similar thing with white bread and cut it up into cubes and do a soft boiled egg and mix that into it, and I'd gollop that down in seconds. That's what I used to get from my mummy.
What does my mummy make for me when I'm sick?
Sick salad.
Sick salad.
We call it sick salad. Anybody else have
bread
special
with
things when you're poorly?
I want salad.
We have sick salad, and it has special things on it. Sick salad. Anyway, let's
salad.
Right, Asha, let's move on. Okay, top of the shop is Ellie. Hello, Ellie from Wisconsin. Good to see you here. Dawn made it. Good evening, morning, everyone. So you sorted out the link in the end. Well done. Sarah says, hi, everyone. Made it to Aberdeen eventually after a 9-hour trek by plane and train for the 3-day on Friday. First of many. Can't wait. Woo-hoo-hoo. We're leaving tomorrow. We're leaving flying into Edinburgh tomorrow. Have an amazing time, says Dawn. Vicky Ware's here. Good morning, everyone from Australia. Hello. Ashley's here. Hi, all.
Hello.
South Africa. Joe Kirk's here from sunny New Zealand. Hello. Sarah Lou said, so excited, heard so much about them and everyone is buzzing. My God, Ash. We better make this a good one. High expectations on us this time.
Yes.
High
it was a close call whether I was going.
It was a close call whether you were going or not. Tim might have been replacing you, but as it is, you are coming with us now, and that's very exciting. You're coming. We're flying out tomorrow. It's very, very exciting.
Yes.
Dawn says, I did the Gawsworth one and loved every minute of it. You will definitely love it too. Do you remember Dawn Lim at Gawsworth, Ash?
I do.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Julie says, woohoo, you're well on your way to us then. Yes. Grace Nicholson's here. Hi, all.
Hi,
well
Grace.
Done, Grace. Well
Grace
done, Grace.
Is a pro. Wait.
Grace is the pro.
All I have is a magic wand.
That's it. That's lovely. Do it. Do that again. I like the magic wands. I love it. Louise Yasin Chuck's here. Hello, everyone from sunny but cold northern Ontario. Ingrid's here. Hello, everyone from Virginia.
Hello.
Hi, Ingrid. Aaron's here. Good evening, all from a nippy Northern Ireland. But at least, see, Northern Ireland. That's it. I got it. Well done.
Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland. I'm going to say it like that now from now on. Northern Ireland. But at least it's dry for now. Good. I'll be saying that all weekend now. Angie Medler's here. Hello from Central Virginia. Jeanette's here. Bonsoir from a very damp northern France. We've had a lovely day today. God, it's been warm.
Been pretty good for the past week.
Chucked it down a couple of days ago, didn't it? But we've had quite a nice weekend. Catherine Brown's here. Hello, Charlie Brown. Sarah says, yes, Julie, train in front of us broke down, so got stuck on the line for over an hour.
Oh, God.
God.
No. I felt that the other day. I had one of those days.
When you were coming back from Paris, it was a nightmare, wasn't it? You ended up having the train. The train stopped on the tracks. So you missed your first train.
The metro stopped, so I had to change it to a second train. And then the Uber was late, so I had to change it again, the train. And then we were stuck in traffic, so I had to change it again. And then we were actually on the train. We thought it was all over, and we were almost there. And it literally it was one of the really fast, speedy trains, the TGVs. And I was sat right next to a screen, so I was watching it. And it was something like 260 kilometers an hour. And I was like, well, it's going quite fast now. And then suddenly it just goes and stops right on the tracks. And the lady on the tannoy comes, sorry, we have stopped on the tracks. And everyone's like, well, pretty sure we all know that now.
It was awful for you.
Pretty sure
and I'm going,
you're
coming in now. I need to come pick you up from the station. Get on with it. George is ringing me, Asha. And I'm on a live. It always rings me when I'm on a live. Again, Jenny Cox is here. Good morning from Australia. Hi, Jenny.
Hello.
Julie's here. That's not the best, but at least you've made it. Long journey, though. Bet yours is the longest.
No.
We've got Alice and Sarah coming from Norway.
Oh, that's a long one,
I think they're closer than we are. We're coming from the middle of France, up through to the UK and on. I think we might beat that. Aaron's coming from Ireland. Shannon's coming from Ireland. Melanie McCrow, hello. Northern Ireland. Hello from Norfolk, says Melanie. Hello. Aaron, Dawn, I can't wait to find out, lol. Vivian Patterson, hi everyone. Foggy coastal California. Oh, lovely. Leah Melling, that we said, because we've been to California on holiday, we sort of remember it. Leah Mellings, good morning for everyone. Leah Melling says in New Zealand, she's watching us from there. Tracy Gray's here. Hi, Tracy. Hey?
How do
I remember? Because I've been doing this is live 99.
Day 99.
I'm very
sad it's not 100 actually.
We're all gutted it's not 100 because we are at 10K. 10,000. So that means tomorrow, guys, caught me a little bit on the hop, even though I have been trying to prepare for it. Tomorrow, the merch will be open. Asha, I know we discussed this, but we've been chatting out there with the others, and we were going to give you a limited edition. We're not going to give you a limited edition now. We're only going to leave it open for a certain amount of days. Of that, we've not decided. Some people say 10. Some people say 5.
10 for 10,000.
Maybe 10 for 10,000. It's going to stay open for 10 days for you to get your merch. But after that, we will stop. So it's not going to be limited. And there'll be 2 T-shirts, 2 different types of T-shirts, a mug, a water bottle, and a cap is what you're going to get. Kate Blake's here. Hello from South Africa. Hello. It's so lovely to have you and Aston from South Africa. Lydia Dubiners here. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Ooh. You have to tell us all about
it. It was Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday.
It was what?
It was Canadian Thanksgiving yesterday.
Asha knows all this stuff because she watches TikTok. That's where she gets everything from.
Actually, someone just thanked me for being in their lives.
Oh, that's lovely.
It was great.
You don't thank me for being in your life, Asha. Vanya Lacey. Hi. Teresa's here. Hey, from Sweden. Jade French, howdy from Minnesota. Meta's here from Denmark. Hello all. Bonsoir, Angela Garberg from southern France. Tara's here from Spain. Hey, lovers. Janet Welsh is here from Spain. Evening all. Tara says, raining in Spain. Yay! My naked rain dance worked and trimming is finally easy. Your naked rain dance. Not just a rain dance, it was a naked rain dance.
Yes. Okay. In the nude.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. Janet says, I might have to do one of those, Tara. Still none in Alicante. Bonnie Doyle's here. Hello from Montana.
Hello.
Dawn says, Tara, if your rain dance work, can you come here and do a sun dance, please? Aren't we always never happy? None of us are we really? Whoop, whoop, 10K. Caroline says, hi, everyone from lovely sunny Portugal. Hello, hello. Bonnie says, woo, 10K. Yes, everybody's... Oh, George. Is this the first time George has joined? Hello, Georgia. Georgia May. That's Asha's sister. It's my oldest daughter. Yay, it's amazing. Aaron says it's just awesome. It is incredible, isn't it? When you think, when we started, I mean, how fast has this group
It wasn't
grown?
that long after my birthday, actually.
It was before
It was just before my birthday.
It was just after George's birthday. In fact, I think it was the next day, and it was just before your birthday. And we thought, we've been talking about the reason that we launched the Phoenix group is because I had some students who had come to me and said, oh my God, Lindsay, these other groups on Facebook are giving out crazy advice and really confusing advice.
They don't know which way's up.
No, and we're trying to get on there and say to them, look, but we've got nowhere that we can, tell them where to go to get advice. And they said to me, and I think it was Adele who was chatting to me initially about it, and she said, should we start up our own Facebook group, and will you back us on it? And we were like, yeah. And I said, yeah, but I don't have a lot of time to get into these Facebook groups, so I doubt if I'll be giving you much time.
The irony.
Famous last words. And then we decided, I don't know, it was a whim. I don't know. I don't even know how it kind of happened. I just one night came in and sat in my office. I don't even think I discussed it with anybody, did I? I just came in, sat down, and went the Phoenix Way, path to Hoof Health, and I'm going to put a 2 in it to make it stand out a little bit, because loads of people got funny about that. They were like, path, why don't you just put TO? And I went, well, I just did it to make it stand out a little bit more, and that was it. The Phoenix Way group, we'd already been talking about the Phoenix Way. We'd been using that terminology, but the Phoenix Way group was born, which is incredibly exciting when you think that now people all around the world, lots of people around the world know it. It's famous and infamous. So there are people 10,000 people who love it, and then there are people who go, no, that Phoenix Way, because if it's been thrown out, blocked, we are Marmite
/ Vegemite, depending on where you're from in the world.
/ Vegemite, depends. I think it's me that's the Marmite, Asha. I don't think it's anybody else. I think it's just me. Whoa. Georgia says, I always watch when Asha is on. Oh, isn't that lovely? I don't think you've ever watched me. It's 99 lives, Georgia, you've missed. No, 98. Only 98 of them. Kate Blake says, I've left all those other groups.
She watched the other one, so it's only 97, remember?
All right. I've left all those other groups, gives me the shivers and the sads. Yes, I can't. We always used to have a joke, me and the admins and everybody in my team. I'd say I won't go into those groups. I'd rather lick windows. Really hate them, because I get it gives me that horrible knot inside my tummy when I start seeing people say these silly things and these ridiculous things, and they believe it, maybe, obviously, if they wouldn't say it otherwise, and then other people back them up, and it becomes just this, but you don't want to do that, you want to do this, and then it just becomes this confusing mess. And I swore that we would never ever do that with our group. That's not where it was going to be. It was going to be a safe space for us. Absolutely. An absolute safe space. Adele says, it was me. It's all my fault, because we decided we didn't want to face the trolls, so you just took the mantle. Bravo. It was, wasn't it? I remember.
Absolutely.
It. And then it was just a whim. I just thought, let's just do it for everyone. And it was the best thing we've ever done. It's daunting, but it also is one of the best things we've ever done, because it proves to you who are in the Phoenix group, Phoenix Warriors, because that was coined very early on, wasn't it? That you can see how many people all around the world are suffering with, or horses are suffering. We see it, don't we, Asha? We see it a lot. When we do these workshops, particularly, I mean, how many legs do we go through, Asha? Asha's very much in charge of the legs. I don't have much to do with the legs. Garry and Asha sort all that out. I stay in the car.
Depending on the workshop, you know, roughly 80 legs.
Yeah.
80 divided by 4 months.
Well, 20.
Yeah.
I had to think about that then. I thought you were trying to. That's weird. Yeah, and when we did our training camp, we had hundreds. We had to. We didn't have to hire. We had to take our big trailer to the UK.
I don't remember how many it was, but I remember it was something ridiculous, like 80 odd horses. You know, if you times
79
80,
horses. We it was
80 times 4 is whatever we had.
Yeah, 80 times 4. Georgia's watching. She'll have already done it in her head. 320. So we
about 300 legs, wasn't it?
Yeah, over 300 legs, and it's grim, but we get to see. It gives you a really, really good broad look of what is going on in hoof care. And when you do it as many times as we do, we go through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of legs, shod and barefoot, and we see some horrid sights, but it really does give you a very good view of what is going on currently in the equine world in the UK. And nothing ever changes. It's the same old story worldwide, isn't it?
I mean, this last training camp that we had, we had a lot more people. We had a few more people that didn't come from the UK. We had people from Spain and, you know, other parts of the world, America, you know, everywhere, and everyone just says the same thing, don't they? It's not just a UK problem. It's everywhere. They all go, oh yeah, that's what mine used to look like, or I know someone's horse that had feet like that, or
absolutely. And it's always the same stories, the same problems. It doesn't matter where you are. You've seen it. You could be anywhere in Europe. You could be in South Africa. You could be in Australia, New Zealand, anywhere. Japan. I did a wonderful 10-day session on a Saturday morning a few weeks ago with a lovely, lovely lady. I don't think I've told you guys this, from Japan. She's a vet, an equine vet in Japan. What a lovely lady. And we had a great session, and we chatted about what it's like with horses in Japan. And most of them are kept in boxes all the time because they don't have a lot of real estate. They don't have a lot of areas for letting horses out. I mean, they do have them, but they don't turn out. So the culture very much is they keep them in stables for most of the time, and then they put them on horse walkers. And she sat there going to me, and I know it's not right, and I know it's not right, but and I want to try and change it. And she lives up in some mountains, but not far from Tokyo. And she said that she's got a small plot of land, and she's hoping to put up a little track, and that she's hoping to help others understand that this is going to be a more natural way. And that was so exciting. And I'm just trying to think of her name. It began with something like Minoko, but it was just so wonderful talking to her and about laminitis and P3 rotation, and the fact that she's tried ever since she's left university as a vet and trained as a vet to keep horses barefoot as much as possible. Completely different mindset to many vets, obviously, that she's around. And you get these odd few vets who are prepared to learn more about something they were never really taught about at school. And yeah, that was fascinating. So it happens everywhere. Problems are the same. Problems are everywhere. Aston says, I love our group. It's so special. It is. I joined really early on, and it's the best group ever. We're still keeping it going. Gosh, goodness knows what it'll be like in a year or so. It could be crazy. Tara says, special group for special people. It so is. You are our Hoof family, guys. I've never watched Family Guys. Have you ever watched Family Guys? Is it called Family Guys?
There's
We need to-
there is one called Family Guys, but
There's
I
a
never watched it.
mosquito in this room. Grace says 400 legs, I'm fairly sure. What, at the training camp? Well, it was certainly, go over there. It was
I think it was 300, but it was just over 300, but it was still quite a lot of legs.
It was a lot. It was heavy.
It was kind of
heavy. And we saw, we had Frankenhoof, the one that was being dragged along.
I got that. I found that in the trailer, and I thought I almost just couldn't speak. I was like,
Asha found it, and you came and got me, didn't you? And you said, "Mum, come and look at this." And
I was like, I can't bring it to you. You have to come to it.
And I came to the trailer and I picked it up, and I immediately went, "Oh my God, that hoof is upside down." And Asha said, "Is it?" And then when she re-looked at it, she went, "Oh, I see it now."
I think I was just so shocked by it that I hadn't looked at it properly.
No, nobody had. We showed Garry, didn't we, after that? And I said, "Garry, look at this." And you don't see it initially until you really see it. Let me see if I can find Frankenhoof so you can remember what it looked like. Okay, so this was Frankenhoof.
It was a monster.
Just yeah, I've got it. Let's share this. Do you remember this? Remember this foot?
It's never going to leave my mind.
This was Frankenhoof. Do you remember that? Everybody remember this hoof? So it's hard to imagine, really, but the fetlock is here being bent the wrong way. It should be going that way. And this is the back of the foot, and this is the front of the foot. And I think if I go on, I can show you a bit more of that. Here you are. This is looks like the top, doesn't it? It's not. This is frog material. I trimmed this in front of all the students. We videoed it. I should put that video out. I still haven't put that video out yet.
Quite a long video. You probably have to trim it a little bit.
I probably will. So that's another view of it.
The other side.
And this is a view from the top. So this is a view, the bit that the horse was dragging. And what you can see here is that this is the hoof wall, but he still didn't go through. This is the white line part of it. It still didn't go through all of that. That's how tough that hoof was that he was dragging along. And who knows how long that horse had been dragging it for. There you go. That's actually the top of the foot. The other way around. Crazy. And I think back to that. Blimey. That's another view of it.
Which doesn't look as weird like that.
No. Well, Sarah says, surely that's an RSPCA. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, yes, but we don't know what happened to it. So this is after the trim. This is after my trim. And so then you can see that's the front compared to what the front looked like up here.
And you can see it's been slightly like naturally beveled. So it's really square at the front because that's obviously where it was standing.
Yeah. And the periopal look had been worn. I'm looking to the right here. I should be looking over here. If I bring that over here, then I can look at the camera. This had all been worn. Can you see my arrow?
Yeah.
The periopal had all been worn. And you see this so this red here was just bruising coming through. It wasn't particularly overly thin, but you had bruising in the white line. But that bit there was because you've got to remember this was an incredibly distorted foot. And this bit here, when I I only just got down to the hard sole plane. You can see, in fact, there could have been a little bit more, a tiny bit more I could have gone. Look how far we got those heels right back, and how much more normal this looked, and how much frog had come forward. The actual, this part of the foot was so distorted and different. And this confused me at the time. I remember thinking, because I said, oh, there's a little bit of blood coming out of the white line there, you can see. So I've not actually gone into the sole. This is just coming out of the white line. And when we cut the foot in half, we found that the dermis had done this very odd thing where it had
sort of grown down the edge, hadn't it?
It had grown down the edges. Yeah, if I think I can. Here's one here. I can show you. You can. There you can see. You see how this dermis had come all the. So you can see there's plenty of sole, but obviously this had been thinned because this has been dragged. This is the bit that it had been. It was still a little bit thin there. We were way off P3, of course, but P3 had taken this interesting shape, and normally the foot would have come out here on a normal foot, but because it had been so you can see this is the hoof wall here, and then you can see it gets narrower and narrower and narrower. And I didn't do that. I didn't touch the hoof wall, but the dermis had sunk right down. It had come up and down,
isn't it?
That's right. And this area was so short here because it had been worn back. And essentially inside,
it took such a weird shape on the top of the foot, which was technically its bottom of the foot.
That's right.
As it was walking, so it took a really weird shape.
And the digital cushion was really hard, wasn't it, Ash? It just gone rock hard.
It was the hardest one I've ever felt.
Yeah. And the bones had gone to mush.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. You can see in that photo actually that you just had up. You don't need to pull it up.
What is this? Is this you cutting it in half? This is Asha cutting it in half. Hang on a minute.
No,
everybody's watching.
Health and safety is not there.
No health and safety here. She's about to cut through her leg.
Not my leg, the horse leg. Thank God.
You can see how it's squared off at the front there. You can see you can see how thin that is because it's been squared off.
It's a really awkward foot to hold because it was going backwards.
That's right, because it was going backwards and it had fixed in that position.
It was so bent and frozen, and also all the bones had been fixed that it was you couldn't unfold it.
And that's a bone saw we're using there, so they're sharp and that they are for this very reason. Oh, that's Peanut going. I go eat that.
You can see in the
look at that picture of Peanut. Dog's got a HM band. I want the foot. It's our little mascot. Go on, what were you going to say, Ash?
You can see in where it's cut in half that you can see the soft areas inside the bones, in the middle of the bones.
Yeah, it just completely gone. I mean, that's the medulla, which obviously would be softer, but that had just turned into...
It's not soft like that, though.
No, it had turned into mush. This is just showing... I think this is just showing you the... That's the digital cushion, and it's basically like bone. Can you see how hard that is?
Yeah.
So there, we're tapping it, and it's really hard. It's like it's gone like bone.
It basically as this was all happening, we were looking at it. It flipped positions. The bones had gone soft, and the soft bits had gone hard.
Yes.
It just flipped because the foot was flipped.
Yes, it was a crazy thing, and I don't think did Garry. I don't know whether I'm sure Garry sent it to me in the end. I'm just trying to think. I'm sure he sent it to me, and at every workshop we seem to get crazy feet.
That's the worst I've ever seen.
We had another crazy foot at which I think some of you have seen. This one. Do you remember this one? We're going back in time, looking at some of our crazy feet. Remember this one, Ash?
There's so many of them. Okay.
So this is where we were going to. This is obviously what we call a coat cam foot as well, you know. And we were going to get this trimmed. Let's have a look what happened here. You can see we've seen plenty of these in our time, but look how awful. This is the tiniest little bit of P3 miles away up there. There's Garry getting into it, and all the students were watching.
Well, it's very similar to the one you posted not that long ago, is it? We can sometimes get a few of these. We have been seeing more of these cases, but it's very similar to the one you posted not long ago.
They're very, very similar to
on
that
the
one.
And side.
There you can see that this is the same foot, and that it's been trimmed on one side. I see that I don't know if this is the same half. I'm not sure, but it's its duplicate if it's not the same half. And then this is trimmed on one side. We did a similar one of these on the Hoofing Marvelous public page a few days ago, and that's what it looks like when it's on its end. And people don't sort of appreciate, I don't think, that's that's a front.
There's also photos of the inside of it as well.
Yeah, let's find
there you go. It's the one underneath the one you already highlighted. There you go.
Yeah, crazy. No, it's just cut in half, and you can see P3 is totally on its tip here. Here, look, it's got such a lot of frog material. What you're looking at there is frog, but behind that, of course, is heel, because when we do a sagittal section, we cut straight through the frog and through the middle of all the bones, and then you can see that it's got this lamellar wedge. But instead of, what you need to do is you need to come across like this, where my arrow is, instead of just chopping it, which would make no sense for that horse at all. And you can see then this is not unlike the feet that we've been seeing rehabbing on the Phoenix group then. And how quickly you can get a foot to this position. You can see there how different it looks, and how we're taking the bars right down to the hard sole plane. Obviously, there's redness in there because there's a lot of bruising and a lot of inflammation.
There's so much overgrowth there.
But that's the sort of trim that you'd be doing. These are front and back feet, aren't they? I think that's the back foot, and this is a front foot, or is it just?
No, I think that's the same
half
one, but there's one a little bit further down, literally underneath that. There you go. Underneath,
yeah. So this is trimmed so that you can see P3 is like an arrow pointing down, and here the tip is no longer straight down. It's going along, and of course there'd be a little bit more to help this horse down with. This would be the initial trim, and then you'd go forth and start, and then you'd go and you know, let the horse do its thing for a few weeks, then you come back and crack on and go again. But essentially there does look like it's difficult to tell when there's a lot of blood around, but it does look like there is some remodeling here. But essentially it's got most of P3 left in there. And that's its terminal arch. You can see that. And then this area here is the tip, which is covered by here's the sole dermis and here's the lamella. You can see that at this new angle, that the wall would start to grow in quite quickly, in fact, and then gradually all of this mess, this big chunky mess, would eventually grow out. But yes,
it's the one on the right.
Say that again.
But instead it was the one on the right.
What about the one on the right?
That's how it was left, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was how it was left. Yeah, and we did the trim. And this is just comparing it with another foot that has a
similar sized pedal bone.
A similar size pedal bone. It hasn't got the P2 isn't the same. This is a little bit bigger on this one, but this is a similar size pedal bone. So this foot is smaller than this foot, but it just gives you an idea of how ridiculously overgrown this foot was, and how much how this horse would have been in dire straits. That's a good image. So that's untrimmed, that's heading towards being trimmed, and that's a similar foot. It's not the same foot, it's a similar foot. That's crazy, isn't it? So we get these in these workshops. This is the training camp. This is the reason that, you know, we're able to show you what the true trim ends up looking like on the foot. And you can see here in the red and the bruising, but that would calm down eventually, and just a mass of overgrown.
But you can see in that one that you just showed, even though, you know, all we did was take the sole down and the heels down to that, the toe came back.
Yes.
You know, the toe did come back.
Yes.
Because we took the height down to the hard sole plane.
Yeah.
But we're not going and then chopping it off to where we wanted it to be.
No.
That's the point. You take it, it still comes back. I think a lot of people get confused with that. It still does the same, like it still comes back, and the heels come back and the sole comes back, but it just, we're not going out and cutting it off.
No. And if you look at this one here, where tradition would be they would just take that straight off, because and then they try and rasp that through till all of this bit was exposed. And what's that doing to this area here? That takes everything away, and all the pressure then comes on, is put on this area, which essentially hasn't got any pressure at the moment. And granted, this is half a foot, but you've got a lot of frog there that's in taking some of that pressure, and also the toe. And it's so important. And yes, it looks long, but you have to remember, and this actually is, sorry if it's a bit gruesome to look at, you have to remember, if I can get this as close as I can, each one of these is one long tubule. It is connected.
Tubule.
It is a continuous tubule, and it is continuous right the way up. Sorry if it's a bit gruesome to look at. Up to the coronary band here, right? This is the shoulder of the coronary groove just here. So all these little periopal that are sat in the groove here, they are producing a horn tubule, an intertubular horn around it. And that horn tubule is one long horn tubule. A bit like a long hair. If you got Asha used to have very long hair. One hair is that length all the way down, right? This is all the way down from the scalp. It's the same here. It's all the way down. And if you cut that off and you stop that feedback going back, we know without a shadow of a doubt that slows down growth rates. And then that's why you end up with a horse like this, which ends up having incredibly, ridiculously, what feels like, or probably felt like to the hoof care professional, even if there was one, it did look like it had been trimmed. Very, very fast growing heels, and the toe just doesn't seem to catch up. But yeah, that's interesting stuff. Let's see what people are saying. Jade says, yes, please post the video. We will. I'll find it. I don't know where it is. I'm sure Garry sent it to me, because I think, didn't you? Garry filmed it on his phone.
Garry filmed it right in front of you. You flicked things at him.
Yeah, I did, because he was filming it. And I'm going
landed
like this
in his mouth a few times, I think.
And you have to remember, I was trimming it backwards. So
you were.
I couldn't,
for two reasons. You were trying to show people, and the fact that you just couldn't hold the hoof between your legs because of how bent it was.
Sorry, so I had to trim it backwards, so the frog was facing away from me, and that's You don't. That was probably the first
50.
time I've ever done that in my life, where I've trimmed a foot the other way around.
Yeah, I think it would be really difficult if it was a normal foot. But because it was so overgrown, looking at it anyway, all you're doing is just going in and chopping. But you're just chopping everything because it's just so overgrown. So it's only until you actually get down to something that looks like resembles it being normal is when it starts to look a bit weird because you're doing it backwards.
Yes, that's right. Initially, it's just a case of getting in, and
Get
you
down.
see, we're never afraid of feet like this. We're never, ever, ever afraid of them because we have guidelines and we're searching. I talk about hacking, like getting a machete and hacking through a forest. You're looking for that opening. You're looking for that hard sole plane. I just kept going down and down and down and down because I knew it was there.
Yeah.
I just needed to find it. Lydia says it's so sad that all those legs are available, good for learning, but sad where they come from. It is. And we do respect them. But I tell you what, Lydia, they've taught so many people over the years. It's so important to have them. It is so
They've taught us
important.
a lot as well. Every time we see something that's even remotely interesting, or just, it's interesting every time because they're different every time. Because you can go, oh, yeah, we're going to get this amount and we can get this amount barefoot, this amount shod, but then there's always something that's just ridiculous.
And the shod ones tell us a huge story, don't they, Ash?
Mm-hmm. Especially
of how we get everybody to get a shod foot, and then we get them to put them on the ground and face
I like
inwards.
this is one of my favorite. It's just a good way of showing how it works because I've never understood it personally.
What have you not understood?
My brain works if you've got, because I did it. I did this the other day. I was walking along on concrete and it had rained and it was wet and my shoes didn't have that much grip because I've obviously worn them quite a lot. So I just go, oh, I'm going to start like skating along the floor. I don't pick my feet up. I'm just going. And that's with rubber shoes with, a nice bit of grip. Sorry, I'm bleeding from my chin.
Stop picking your spot, child. Nobody wants to see you picking your spot on TV.
I know I picked it accidentally. And I've never understood the concept of, even on dry roads, metal.
No, of course not. But you see, there wasn't a better option because it was the only thing that would last.
Back then, but
it
now.
wasn't. There was no better option. There was no better option. You had leather when you started with. That didn't last very long. And then some bright spot went, oh, metal. And they were like, great, it lasts weeks. Brilliant. That's the only reason that they did that. But nowadays, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for putting something so hard and rigid on the bottom of a flexible, organic and dynamic foot. There's no excuse. None at all now.
One of my favorite things to do in a workshop, if we've got the pace for it, is if you are on a hard ground, is to get a barefoot and to get a shod and just push the shod down onto the ground and try and push it forward. And it just goes.
And we did this, and we took a video, didn't we, Ash? And we put it on the internet, and of course, people scoffed at it because they weren't there, and they were saying, "Oh, the person doing it isn't pushing the same." You actually try to push harder with the barefoot one, and it just doesn't move. You've really got to push it because it just somehow sucks itself to the ground. Whereas with the metal shod one, it just slides easily.
And the irony, slides easier with the road nails in.
Yeah, because these little pinpricks aren't digging in. Sarah says, did you see the comment made about how was the shoe cut in half on a live leg on the H&M bus? I always go to the comment section. It never fails to amuse me. Well, because whenever we put anything up, there are so many people that want to get a gotcha. They want to get a HM gotcha. They want to try and prove for some reason that we're propagandists, that we're telling lies, and that what we put up is not true. They want to there was one where we showed two halves of a foot and one guy went, oh, it's not the same foot because one half was trimmed. Like, it is. You can see the rings.
We then had to show the video of us turning it.
Yeah.
Going, there you go, 10 foot.
So there are so many people that want to get these gotcha moments, and they just want to just scoff at us all the time. Oh yeah, you haven't really. No, we wouldn't do that to a live foot. It was a cadaver foot. Vivian says, just this morning spoke to an equine fusion rep about boots, mentioned the Phoenix way. She was aware of you and went on to say she doesn't agree with the trim. Not enough science, lever forces and stretch tendons. Said TPG was not taking the mechanics of the hoof into play. She was set in her opinions. That, I'm assuming, was not somebody from the Norwegian group. That's not somebody from Equine Fusion. That's somebody with their own ideas, because Equine Fusion are some of our biggest friends. In fact, we've got Alice and Sarah coming over. We've got Alice and Sarah coming over from Equine Fusion which is interesting. So that rep needs to kind of talk to who the people that
get on the bandwagon.
Actually talk to the people where she's getting the boots from, because they are totally with what we do. Alice came to our workshop. Alice is one of their
she's already been
social media coordinators for Equine Fusion. She came from Norway and came on a Scotland workshop last year. It was last year. And she's coming again this year, and she's bringing another member of Equine Fusion. So Vivian, tell that Equine Fusion rep that she needs to buck up. It is Equine Fusions that we promote. I was talking about the all-terrain. The all-terrain ultra is absolutely amazing. She's just exactly. She's just a rep. She's not a spokesperson for the brand, and that's a problem, right? Because she's not in concert with what the brand are doing. But I think that hoof boots don't want to get into that fight. I don't think that they do.
It's not their territory.
No, they just want to go
back out of it, don't they?
Yeah. Two people connected with the brand coming from Norway. Yeah. I know, just relaying Coventry. Yeah. Go chat to her about it. So I know the foot. Yeah, we will post the video. Probably. Who knows whether the RSBC got involved. Oh my dear God, but the pony makes me feel sick. Yeah. There was a pony on another site like that, not quite as sad, but it was put to sleep. Yeah. I actually feel ill looking at that. I'm assuming, Lydia, you're talking about the backwards foot that's been dragged.
These are all coming up with the bent foot.
Did you all get emotional after the trim to think what the poor baby could have had? There's definitely a lot of.
It was different. It was different for other people. Some people felt emotional. Personally, for me, it was just more of a factor of like, what
fascination. I think how,
because we just had so many questions that we couldn't answer.
We've now just lost Asha. She's now just gone completely. You have to come and get my Asha. My headphones are in my bag. Go and get my AirPods. Can you hear me? We can't hear you. Go get my AirPods. Oh, speak.
I'm here.
Oh, she is here.
What was I saying? It was just we had so many questions that we couldn't answer because we didn't know the backstory. There's so many things that we could answer if we knew the backstory, like how old the horse was, how long it was walking like that, and all these things that we wanted to know, but we couldn't, unfortunately.
No, because obviously this is just a leg that we just get given. But that's what I'm trying to say, because we go through so many legs, we do get to see so many crazy things, and it is emotional, but I think we get so invested in it, and the trim, and just how the trim works every time, as you could see there, that there's no, I think just me showing all the students and going, look, this is a horrendous foot. How on earth are we going to trim it? We trim it and we attack it just the same as we would do with any other trim. We're looking for those constants, and that's what you come out with. And again, like you say, the foot that poor baby would have had. I know, such a shame it's complicated to get cadaver legs in France. I know, it's really tough. And yet there are horses dropping down everywhere, aren't they? Bless them, and being put to sleep.
I was going to say the
I would love
irony
you
is
to do.
they eat horse in France.
Yeah, they don't want to eat the legs. There's no meat on her.
So I don't know why.
Everything is complicated in France. Don't get me started on that topic. Ellie says, so what would be compacted sole? Is there ever compacted sole on hooves that aren't massively overgrown? You don't, yes, because you don't have to have them so overgrown that they've got masses of compaction. You can still get
depends on how much overgrowth you're talking about, and whether you're initially getting down to the hard sole plane anyway. Because if you're never getting down to the hard sole plane and you're trimming down to what you think is the sole, obviously it's just going to keep creating layers, and eventually you can get a foot that doesn't look overgrown at all, but does have compacted sole underneath because it's never been taken away.
And you know, and that's quite right. And you know, one of the reasons why we start finding a lot of hooves going out, well, not one of the reasons, major reasons why we start finding these hooves that go out of whack so easily, is because we have people in this world who think that horses should have heels built up. Horse needs heels. And what are they doing? Because they need to be following what the horse wants, not what they think is right. And so they do that, and then they go to the front of the foot and they go, well, but the foot shouldn't look like that, shouldn't look like that long. We need to take that foot off. And then that's it. You've just created a situation where if you continue to take the toe, or you continue to grow the heels and take the toe off, that you're getting this, this disparity, this imbalance between those with that growth rate. And then everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And before you know it, you've got thin parts at the sole usually, and very compacted, chopped up back of the foot. And it's such a shame. And it's all because, and I put this up on the HM public page today, I put a post up, and it was talking all about the fact that there are no constants that people follow. It's all subjective. It's all based on interpretation. Nobody follows what the horse is trying to show you, and it's so incredibly simple until you get to the compacted feet, and then it takes more experience to get yourself down, because you know where stuff is. And one of the things that we teach our students is to visualize where the bony column is located in the foot. So to have those X-ray eyes, that's what we teach students to have, because they know where,
without going inside.
That's right. And so therefore you've got a good idea of where things are. Quick question: is it okay to trim the bars in between trims? Not sure if I should or not. If you are trying to get bars to settle down, and you start again. If you haven't got the bars off in one trim, then yes, it's okay. If you've got the bars down to the hard sole plane and you're down to the hard sole plane, leave them until you do your next trim. Is the answer to that. They seem to grow faster than the rest of the hoof. Well, why would that be? Why would that seem to be? Dawn? Do you know the answer to that, Ash? Why does it appear that the bars in a very concave foot, and it's usually in cobby feet, appear to grow quicker than the rest of it?
But it's the same reason why the sole grows more, because it's not being It's not having that contact constantly against the ground, because obviously it is concaved, so it doesn't get worn away constantly.
That's
but
right.
if you've got a hoof that is self trimming, so everything is being kept down to the walls and the heels and the toe and the sole, the bars will do that as well, because it's all self trimming.
Varied surfaces helps that. So having
And something where the foot can kind of like rocks or sand, where it can go sink in, so it can exfoliate in the concavity.
That's right. If you're just on mud, it's not enough. I've just seen a gendarme walking up my wall. What's he doing in my house?
You see it a lot on Shetlands as well, because of they have very tiny little upright feet. They don't tend to be able to self-trim. She's saving a bug.
I'm trying to get him. Come here.
She did this once when we were in the car together and drove up a hedge on the way to a client.
Do you remember it well? Because you were on the passenger side.
It was actually traumatizing. I felt traumatized. It was on the end of your cap. It was tiny money spider. With your eyesight, I don't know how you saw it. And you drove up a hedge in a tiny little Clio. And I was like screaming.
And we pulled the tyre off, didn't we?
We did. It's the first time I've ever changed a tyre.
We had to change a tyre. Oh dear, I remember that. Oh God. All because I was trying to save a spider. Hi everyone. Nice to see you, Asha, says Tula. Hi, Tula. It's lovely to see you. Dawn says, I went for riding a shod horse and it slipped on the road. It came to a surprise. It came to as surprise as I hadn't ridden a shod horse. Yes. When you've ridden barefoot horses and you go back to shod, it feels very unsafe, actually. There was a great video you saw some years ago, barefoot versus shod horses walking on a pavement, and every step the shod hoof slipped beyond where the foot landed, and every single step the shod horses are skating. I can see that video in my mind, and as it comes down, it's called there's a slip, so it comes down. It's very slow-mo, and as that hits, it wobbles like this, and all the tissues wobble around it and around the coronary band, and then it skids. It does this and it skids, whereas the barefoot just comes down and locks.
You can also see that they are much more tentative when they put their foot down. You can see that a barefoot horse just sort of like trolls along, but a shod horse definitely, sometimes they shorten their stride, or they're a little bit slower because they don't want to put their foot down. Because they're like, I don't know.
They don't feel safe. They don't feel safe. Rep in Canada. Oh dear. Louise says, can't imagine how much that poor horse suffered. Just so many horses are suffering, and that one definitely did. Oh, blimey, Lindsay, I have a friend who thinks just like that. I can't remember what I said now, but yes. She had many boots on her site. The conversation came up when I mentioned Maisie length at 6 1/4. She thought I should trim it back, so I ordered a smaller size that would fit her fetlock but better. Is it because I'm not at the hard sole plane? I don't know. I'd have to see. It's likely because he's got more concave, because he's not, obviously he's not a cob, but he's got that sort of breeding in him.
Got that size feet.
He's a little bit more concave than normal, and it's because of the surfaces, and it's because of the fact that you might not be getting the bar down to the HSP. It might do that. Tara says, with me, I found I didn't trim the bars enough in the first place, and I also felt the bar was put there to protect a thrushy frog. That's interesting. That's really interesting, Tara. You should say that. People get very confused about what the bars are there for. Yeah. I got it now. Thanks both. Great. Yeah, we do get so many crazy feet. It is amazing. And over the years, and do you know what? Over the years, we've had incredible feet, and I've we haven't always kept them. Just coming to mind, actually, let me see if I can show you. We're not going to get into the Phoenix group tonight, but just showing you some feet from workshops. Let's just show you. Let's just show you this.
I remember
image. Go on.
No, I'm just wondering what one you're going to put up, actually.
I don't know why I haven't got them here. That's weird. They were the ones that I got from you, actually.
This is a surprise then. What workshop was it?
Wales. Go and have a look at the Wales ones. Let me see if I can find it. It's the little Shetlandy feet. While you're looking at it, I want to show you this image, actually, which is from one of those feet, but I don't for some reason have the feet, and I think you have them, Asha. But I want to show you this. So let's just walk our way through what we're looking at here. This is another foot that's been cut in half, and this pony the toe wall had been completely removed. This is where the frog is. So if you see, can you see how, actually if I go back out, it's probably better. You can see that there's a change in the color here. All right, that's because this is frog horn, this is sole horn. It's ever so slightly different. And you can see that the beginning of the true frog on the dermis is up here, and then it comes at an angle forward, as does the horn tubules, and the end of the frog is there, and then we're into true sole. These are the horn tubules that are in the sole, mixed with intertubular horn, and then these are the horn. These little striations are from when we cut it with the saw. But these long white tubules, because horn tubules have no pigment in them. What the pigment that you are seeing is from the intertubular horn. You can see it's much darker here, and then you get to see the horn tubules start to get larger and larger and larger and larger and larger until they get fatter and fatter as they come further in, and whiter, and the intertubular horn has less and less pigment in it until you have no pigment at all, and that's the inner hoof wall, and that striation is how the wall changes. So this is a really good example of going from the outer hoof wall to the inner hoof wall. And what we have here is we have fatter horn tubules and more intertubular horn on the inner, which makes this strong but very flexible, and it carries more moisture in this layer, whereas this layer is a little bit more brittle. It's got smaller horn tubules, but they all run down to the ground, right? And when they're down here, that's it, boom, nothing. But I wanted to show, and then this is a confused, because this horse is laminitic. Oh, hello. That's George. That's my daughter George. If you're still watching, that's her stuffing her face on a kebab in Carmarthen.
Anyway, sure she's thrilled about that.
This foot is obviously laminitic, and you can see that we have this big wedge here that's made of very confused material. This is the dermal and the epidermal lamina. The epidermal lamina were attached to this part here, but then we've had this big stretch and we've had this mess. But then look down here, which is where P3 is in its very positive position, and it's pushing down. And I wanted to show you this. Now, this isn't due to the way that we cut it in half. This is just, you can see how these horn tubules are compressed. Can you see where they're compressed? Right under the tip of P3. Right under the tip of P3, because the horse is walking on this part here. And do you see it? Do you see that? This is a little bit of infection that the horse has got in there. Do you see how it bends? How they bend?
Yeah.
And this is
you
all
can see
because
how far back it goes as well. It's sort of like it ricochets back, doesn't it?
It does, to about here, doesn't it? And then it starts to ease off a little bit.
Slightly.
But very much so here. Very much so. And these are the solar the horn tubules that are in the sole, and you can see that how they bent. That was of the same. Did you find it, Ash? Did you find those? No. Oh well, I have to find them on another time because I must have them somewhere. But goodness knows where. Normally, I'm very good at finding things, but not for some reason. This one. Let me just go one more look. Did you send me stuff? No. Sorry, folks. We'll be with you in a second.
Wales trip.
I don't know. I can't see them. I haven't got them there. It's a shame because I would have been able to show you those. But anyway, doesn't matter. So we often, what I was going to show you was I was going to show you 2 front feet that were completely same horse, same little pony. Back feet look totally normal. Front feet look completely horrendous because they muck about with the front feet all the time.
That's such an odd thing, isn't it?
Wow, that is a brilliant picture. Show compressed tubules and bent from pressure. Amazing to see. It is, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. We've been on an hour. We're going to say goodbye now. That was an interesting live. It was sort of going back down memory lane a little bit with some of those hooves. It's good to have all this kind of information. And always we know one of the reasons we get quite excited, isn't it, Ash, when we go to these workshops, as much as it's awful picking up these feet, it's going to teach us a ton. We know it is. It's going to teach us stuff. It's going to teach, or rather than teach, it's going to confirm things by just showing. It's validating. We're going to validate things, validate stuff that we've taught students, because they get to see these real feet and they get to see the real problems with these feet. So yeah, crazy. Thank you. And Angela Moore says thank you. Thank you for joining in. Toodles. Good to see you both. Jade says thank you. Angie Medler says thank you. Megan Eccleston says thanks. Brilliant. Excellent. We shall see you. Oh, Asha and I are in Edinburgh tomorrow night. And I don't think we get in until...
Should we take bets on whether our flight is going to be delayed?
Yeah. It's going from Poitiers. I doubt we'll see you tomorrow night, everyone, because we are flying to Edinburgh. If we do get there and we get into our hotel before 8 o'clock, which I doubt, but if we do, we'll let you know. We'll put a post up in the group and we'll come on. But if not, we will see you in a couple of days. Hopefully we'll try and do one. We might do one on the road. All right. Take care now. Great to see you guys. Thanks, Asha, for joining us. Bye.
Bye.